I have an issue with the phrase fun fact because my position is it's a fact. I'll decide whether or not it's fun. Anytime anybody says fun fact, it's like, wait, I'll let you know whether or not it's fun. I got a fun fact for you, though. Oh, that was last week on the Joint Mega Picks podcast, Chris Sims, Unbuttoned, PF, TPM. The results were not fun facts for me or for you, really. You still got me, but neither of us were very good last week. And I knew the correction was coming. After week 7, when we both were incredible, we were not great last week.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, as I've told you before, like versus the spread in totality, I don't give a shit about it. I don't care. You're not going to be right about 14 games versus the spread. So that's where I always tell you, yeah, straight up, we were a little lackluster. I expect better from us there. But the best bets are the ones that I'm going, those are the 2 or 3 I like versus the spread. Everything else is like, I don't know about the spread. So that's where, I don't put as much weight into that. It wasn't that bad of a week, so don't worry. You'll be all right.
Hey, by the way, fun fact, I've been asked to tell you that the purple wire guy is in my house fixing my stuff upstairs.
Purple wire guy's there? Damn.
Purple
okay.
Wire guy's here.
He's my buddy. I like purple wire guy, right? Because I'll see, as we know here at NBC and any major media company, I mean, the walls and the floors are just wires endlessly, right? I mean, you know that. We walk on a floor that's a bunch of puzzle pieces where all our cables and internet cables and everything that's there. So, yeah, they went through a series of I'm going to say 5-6 weeks in a row where they had this purple wire, and I'm telling you, they were moving it through the building every day. It was like, all right, we got a few feet farther. All right, now we got to bring it up to the ceiling. We got to put it through there, right? So I started to be, hey, purple wire guy. Hey, how's that purple wire doing?
Purple wire guy is here. His name is Robert.
I did know that.
He could legally change it at this point to purple wire guy.
I think so. Sometimes you just got to ride it, Sometimes you're just Ocho Cinco, and that's how it goes. Purple wire guy.
He currently has free access to my house because I'm down in the cave for this while he's upstairs. I showed him where the refrigerator is out in the garage. I told him, help yourself to water, soda. I mean, hell, there's beer, there's seltzer in there.
Help yourself, purple wire guy. Make yourself at home.
Purple wire guy.
That's right.
Hopefully the system upstairs will be fixed and I'll be able to retreat from the Olive Garden set back to the official NBC supplied and installed and maintained.
I'd like that. Yeah, I'd like it.
It's been broken for weeks now. It's been so long that my routine has become I come down here instead of I go up there. It's going to be weird to go back upstairs every day, but hopefully that day comes tomorrow, and by next week, we'll be in our regular spot. I'll be in my regular spot when we do this Picks podcast.
Good. Goddamn time.
We did.
Wait, we got some comments we got to look at first.
What do we got
Well,
here?
we got Ben98_669, right? He says, convinced Florio tries to get into Chris's mind so he can get a bingo, bango, bongo. I can't prove it, but I know it. I'm with you, Ben98. I do think sometimes he's going, what is Chris going to pick so I can get a bingo, bango, bongo?
Well, it's almost like that. It's almost like that charlatan owes the mentalist who is suddenly everywhere again.
Yes, I love it. Eat it, Florio.
Yeah. He claims he's got a method and he reads body language. I think it's all a parlor trick. And I look forward to the opportunity to prove it one of these days when he tries to read my mind. Good luck, O's. So, yes, I'm trying to plant scores in your brain so that I can then say bingo, bango, bongo, or bingo the bongo, as the case may be.
Right. Who do you know?
The other comment.
Wise people want to know who do you dislike more? O's the Mentalist or Jackson DeVille? Who's it down? Who do you dislike more?
Jackson. That's 13 years ago. I don't even remember how the Jackson DeVille thing started. I don't think about Jackson DeVille.
Oh, that's great. Well,
I do think
I'll
about
have to call
O's
him
the
down there and tell him
because
to shit on you and put some kitty litter on you again.
I think about O's the Mentalist just because I'm astounded that someone has. They did a profile on him on 60 Minutes. And it's clear that he's a magician.
Right.
He's a magician.
Okay.
And he's sold us on this idea that he's a mind reader. And I think it's all bullshit. He's a magician. And he's found a lane. Instead of making, an elephant disappear or
So what's your problem with it, old man?
I don't
What
have
do
a
you
problem
care?
with it.
Okay.
Here's why I have a problem with it. People think he actually can do it. People think it's real. And he goes on these sports shows like it is the ultimate laziness in production where you say, gee, we got to fill a segment. Hey, let's bring this guy on to do a couple of parlor tricks. It's like, what's next? A ventriloquist? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's a sports show. But if he wants to come on the show and try to read my mind, open invitation.
I would love for him to do that. Right. I mean,
the charlatan to come on the show.
He probably will come on and be like, oh, wait, forget it. His mind's so up. Forget it, guys. I'm out of here.
Well, he claims that the smarter the person is, the easier it is to read their mind. So, yeah, good luck reading our minds. Here at the other end of the spectrum.
I'm brilliant. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm brilliant. Screw yourself. Didn't you see?
Okay.
I swept you last week. 3 out of 4 weeks.
Yeah,
I your ass. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
let's get it going. Come on.
I still have a 1-game lead and a 1-game lead straight up your ass, and a 5-game lead against the spread. You have a 2-game lead in the best bets where I'm underwater. I hate the best bets.
But it is good. I mean, I was down pretty deep in a hole after the first 2 or 3 weeks. And
it was 9 games through the first 2 weeks.
Chipping away, baby.
All right. By the way, every week this season, you can play along with us. DraftKings has set up the free $1,000 Florio and Sims pick and pool. Pick every game against the spread for a chance at a $1,000 prize pool every week.
Oh, and that is me, and I'm going to say download the DraftKings app, click on the Pools tab, and enter the Florio and Sims free $1,000 pick and pool to make your picks.
And as always this year, no Thursday night games. You have until 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday to lock in your selections. And let me just say this before we pivot to the picks, because I've been fairly outspoken over the course of the past week regarding my views about gambling and its overlap with sports and the threat to the integrity of the NFL and other sports.
Yeah.
And I saw some pushback along the lines of, well, you do a picks podcast every week. You can't have it both ways. Look, we pick the games for fun. And I tell people all the time, it's on you if you actually take what we say and decide to wager your hard-earned money on it. And again, picking games is completely separate from what I regard as the crack cocaine of sports betting, which is these prop bets. And that's where the problems are coming from, because you can't rig a game in theory. One person can rig a prop bet, and we're seeing how that plays out, what it's done to the NBA, what it's potentially going to do to the NFL if the NFL doesn't get its act together and restrict the amount of inside information and better police the flow of it. So it is possible to have two beliefs at once. We can do a picks podcast, and we can try to guess who's going to win the games, and we can apply the caveat, please don't expect our picks to be right. And I can also believe that prop bets are bad for the sport and bad for the players. And you see more and more of the sports leagues saying, we don't want these. And good luck putting that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, all right. Well said. Well said. I do take it serious. I will say that. Picking the games, I sit on the couch at night. I write notes. I sit there because I have people who tell me, like, dude, I listen to what you say, breaking down games. I kind of base my bets off of it. So that's where I do have a little bit, I guess, self-pride in that there are a few people listening to that. I am I watch the film guy, and I hope that I could deliver some info for that. But yeah, I hear you, Mike. It's a slippery slope. Everybody's got to be careful.
I just think the bottom line is nobody knows what the hell is going to happen, and that's part of the fun of watching the games. Every week, it's a new surprise.
Yep.
And part of me, and again, I've come to terms with it. I actually enjoy it because we have limited time together during college football season because you only do PFT Live 2 days a week, up from 1 last year, which is a 100% bump. But I enjoy doing this because we have time to hang out and shoot the shit and have some fun. For me, it's just part of the fun. What do we think is going to happen?
Yeah.
My caveat is I don't fucking know, and nobody does. So with that, let's see what we think is going to happen this week. It begins on Thursday night with the Ravens going to Miami. The Ravens are favored in this one by 7.5 over the Dolphins. Both teams won on Sunday, and I heard you saying in our makeshift viewing room at the casino, coincidentally, in Pittsburgh, it's good that both teams won. It makes what looked like a caca game a little more interesting.
Definitely.
It is interesting, and we are going to watch it. We love watching standalone football. We love being able to check in on these teams and see where they are. So right now, the Ravens are viewed, even though they're 2-5, as a team on the rise, and the Dolphins got to win somehow at 2-6. Ravens favored by 7.5, over under of 51.5. 83% of the spread money is on the Ravens. Are you?
Yeah, I'm on the Ravens. I'm on the Ravens winning. I'm on the Ravens with the spread as it looks here right now. You know, I come away. You heard me talk about it Wednesday. I broke it down on my Tuesday podcast a little bit. The Ravens defense is completely healthy. They got everybody where they're supposed to be. And watching that film back last week against the Chicago Bears, I was quite impressed, right? So it gives me a ray of hope to go, oh, wait. The Ravens, this ain't over yet. We've discussed it a lot, right, with where their schedule is, everything there. I think there's going to be a little bit of an energy from the Ravens tonight to go, hey, yeah, we feel we got to have some urgency. We can't really lose too many more football games, maybe one or two more, and that's going to be dicey too. So, but within that, I think, yes, just knowing, hey, they're healthy, and then Superman's back. And, oh, wait, Superman's going back to his hometown, and he's going to really want to look like Superman in his hometown. So that's where I look at Baltimore. Baltimore is a bigger football team than the Miami Dolphins. I do expect them to be able to run the ball to a degree, and I really have no questions about Baltimore's offense when Lamar Jackson is going to be in there. And then I do also look at it and go, with this healthy defense that Baltimore has, yeah, Miami's offense, as we know, it's a little hit and miss. It's a little all over the place. It's not that special this year, and I don't expect them to be able to run the ball like we saw last week against the Atlanta Falcons. And I think as the game goes on, it'll be tough sledding throwing the ball with that healthy Ravens secondary. I am going to go 31-20 Ravens.
You know, I tried to plant the seed O's style in your brain about the potential score for this one on Wednesday's PFT Live when I pointed out that even though the Ravens under Lamar Jackson's time with the team have been very good in prime time, they have from time to time stepped in a pothole. That happened 4 years ago on a Thursday night when the Ravens went to Miami, and Miami was horrible at the time, but Miami won the game 22-10. I was hoping that 22-10 would stick in your brain and you would decide to flip it around, because that's what I'm doing. 22-10. It's one of those, not quite scoregami because it happened in that Thursday night game 4 years ago, but 22 isn't a normal point total for a team. But I'm going 22-10 just because this is, and it has to be at some level for Lamar Jackson, something that sticks in his craw. He went home 4 years ago and lost to a team that had one win entering the game in embarrassing fashion. He's going to want to show that he's still got it, that he's still an MVP candidate, and that the Ravens are back on the right track. The hamstring is healed. The Ravens win 22-10, and Lamar should have a good night in prime time. And, you know, it's as simple as this. The Dolphins got their win for the month. Like, does anybody really expect them to go on a winning streak? I sure as hell don't.
No, I don't. You're right. And one of my last notes I wrote to myself in that game is I don't think the Dolphins can gear it up again for a second week in a row, right? I feel that same way there. Like, that was like, okay, yeah, we got to be better. We got to win. And they got that win, and we'll see. But either way, we know the Dolphins are dangerous, and we know Thursday night, it's always crazy shit on Thursday night, always. And that's where, like, as much as I feel like the Ravens are going to dominate the game, I'm always hesitant about, go bet on that game tonight, because we know there's some weird circumstances that come along with Thursday night.
All right, early on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, the Chicago Bears travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, who, as of 2 Thursday nights ago, looked like they were maybe getting their act back together. Then they blow a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter against the Jets, and they lose. They're 3-5. The Bears are 4-3. They had a 4-game winning streak snapped last week against the Baltimore Ravens after they were successfully duped into thinking that Lamar Jackson would play. They weren't ready for Tyler Huntley, and they lost by 14. So, Bears favored by 3. Over under of 51.5. Who you got?
Yeah, this game scares me a little bit for the Bears. One, the Bears are a little banged up, and we know the Bears defense is not special. Now, the big question is Joe Flacco and what his health status. Who's going to be playing quarterback? But if it's a healthy Joe Flacco, yeah, I think this game could be scary for Chicago. Like I mentioned, the defense is not a shutdown defense, right? The offense is a little banged up. DJ Moore's got a groin thing, right? It's Odunze's got a heel thing. Luther Burden, I believe, is in concussion protocol. DeAndre Swift has a groin thing. So that scares me a little bit as we sit here on a Thursday morning picking these football games. I'm going to take the Bears because Also, the Bengals defense still stinks. That doesn't change anything there. So that's where I look at this here. I think they're going to be able to make plays on this Bengals defense. But, the health is paramount. It's to be a game out there. If you are going to bet on, I'd go, no, wait till Saturday. Get a better feel for the injury report there. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I do expect the Bengals to be able to make some big plays against the Bears defense, no matter who's at quarterback. So I just don't trust either team really in this matchup. I'm going to go Bears 30-24 in this one.
I'm with you on that. I've got Bears 34-27. I just think that the Bears, after losing last week, the Bengals, and I don't know, is it going to be Jake Browning? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Is an injured Joe Flacco going to be enough to make a difference?
Yeah.
I think that, and we've seen that this year. At some point, I need to go through the schedule week by week and point out the examples, but we've seen teams get an unexpected big primetime win and then piss it away.
Yeah, right.
We saw the Falcons do it with their win over the Bills. They've lost 2 in a row since then and got blown out by the
Jaguars.
Dolphins. Yeah, Jaguars. Hey, we've turned the corner. We've changed the narrative, and they haven't won a game since that Monday night win over the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think the Bengals are just trending in the wrong direction, and the Bears need to reestablish themselves after losing a game that we both thought if Lamar Jackson didn't play, they would win, and they ended up losing it badly. And that, we talked about it on Monday, that sequence near the end of the game when the Bears were still in it, and it's just tick, 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 tick. And what the hell are we doing?
Right.
Every time I feel like they're figuring it out under Ben Johnson, it's like, what are they really doing?
Still some things to work out. Yeah.
Opportunity to win one, though, and get to 5-3 on the year, and we both think they will. All right, then comes a game that I'd like to just skip over. The Vikings returned to Detroit with a much different vibe than the last time the Vikings were in Detroit. That was the final game of the 2024 regular season with the 1 seed on the line. The Vikings, I don't know what they are right now. J.J. McCarthy is returning after a 7-week absence. The Lions had their bye week, and the Lions are looking very good. They're 5-2. They're favored by 8.5 with an over-under of 48.5. 94% of the spread money is on the Lions.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a Lions ass whooping coming to a theater near you. All right, that's what I think is coming right here. I mean, the Lions are awesome, like you said. They're home after a bye week. Oh, and it's basically a rookie quarterback who was very shaky before he got hurt. Now he's going to go in and not be shaky, and then we don't have a run game to really rely on there in Minnesota, as we've discussed week in and week out, and this is not the week you're going to jumpstart it. Detroit's not going to let you run the ball. They don't let anybody run the ball, really. So that's where I look at that. The Lions got to be a little healthier as far as having that bye week. But the big problem, and what everything relies on, is the Vikings defense. And the Vikings defense, as we know, is as well coached as there is, but there's just not enough talent there, in my opinion, to match up with some of the best offenses in football. And you know better than anybody, you guys can't really stop the run that well unless you crowd the line of scrimmage and do all that crazy Flores stuff. So within that, though, you got to be careful about doing that crazy stuff. You got all these people at the line of scrimmage. Jared Goff says Seth Huttis, Jameson Williams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown flying down the field, and your safeties are 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. Guess what? You're in deep shit. They're going deep. It's going to be a touchdown. So that's where I think it almost chops a leg of creativity away from Flores to stop the run, and that's where I think they're going to be in trouble. The Lions, as we know, are so explosive on that side of the ball. 35-17, roar, Lions.
And look, I have no illusions about this one. It's good that J.J. McCarthy's back, but this will be his 3rd career regular season game. It's his first game in Michigan since he beat Ohio State in 2023. With the Wolverines, but hey, if the Vikings pull this one off, then it will be one of those, okay, maybe they have something, and then they'll lose 2 in a row after that, like we've already established with some of these other teams. But I just don't see a set of facts where the Vikings can win this one, and I think they know it, and the Lions know it. Their only hope is for the Lions to be complacent, but I don't think that'll be the case. A couple of factors there. They're starting to realize Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy.
Yeah,
some of the comments in the aftermath of their most recent game, it's clear that they get it, that they understand that he's a special talent. And as much as they'd like to split the touches, I think it's in the process of going to starter backup, not Sonic and Knuckles.
Right?
It's more
What you've
Batman
heard me
and Robin.
been saying for 2 years, right? Like I go, yeah, you got to give him more touches. He's just too explosive. You're leaving yards on the field with him not getting the ball.
And the other factor is the contract extension for Aiden Hutchinson, because now he can quit worrying about carrying the injury risk.
Right.
The Lions have assumed it to the tune of $141 million in injury guarantees. He can finally, and not that he's playing well while he's carrying that injury risk coming off of the serious lower leg injury from last year. Now he's completely and totally free to things up for the Vikings. 42-13. The Lions, and I'll tell you now, it's probably going to be one of my best bets.
Yeah, I think it's
at 8.5.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be a best bet.
It can trend that way for me as well. I hear you. It's definitely been starred on my documents there to go. That could be a possible best better right there.
All right, from one big spread to another, the Carolina Panthers, who are moving in the right direction. They got smacked around last weekend by the Buffalo Bills. The Packers getting the 10-point win. In Pittsburgh, they are the #1 seed as of right now in the NFC. They're favored by 13.5 with a 44.5 over-under. 84% of the spread money is on the Green Bay Packers. They'll be wearing their helmets that will be painted to look like old leather helmets. The Nikification of the NFL continues. Do you like the Packers to hold serve at home against the Panthers?
I do, but I don't think it's going to be like beautiful and easy, right? That's where I look at it a little bit. You know, last week was really the first time the Carolina defense has had a bad game like that the whole year. You can go back and look at all their games, look at their game logs, look at the stats, all of that. You know, even in games where, you know, they played high-octane offenses, you go, oh, they had some troubles. It wasn't that easy. You know, more times than not when another team has a big day against Carolina, it's really Carolina's offense things up for the whole football team, just like it did last week. I mean, they were hanging in there against Buffalo's defense, but Andy Dalton fumble, Andy Dalton interception. They're on the 1-yard line now. And the dam kind of broke on the defense. I don't think that'll happen this week. I don't. Plus, I think you're going to get a motivated football team that's embarrassed by the way they played, right? But nonetheless, I'm still going to pick the Green Bay Packers because, one, I do think Carolina and their success is very predicated on their ability to run the football. They can't just drop back 40 times and beat you. They're not that team. But you know that Green Bay, nobody runs on Green Bay. Nobody. So I look at it from that standpoint and go, oh, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, can they make some plays in the pass game? Sure. We've seen Green Bay susceptible to making some pass plays. And Carolina's got 2 guys on the outside that can make some things happen. And I also think Carolina, if they can protect a little bit, right? This is the flaw with Green Bay right now. That, yeah, guys like Tetairoa McMillan and Xavier Legette are going to have their way on the outside. But I also think last week was a big step for Green Bay. They're healthy on the offensive side of the ball. Tucker Kraft, Watson, everybody there. And I think they're feeling themselves a little bit. I think they win 24-16. Not easy, but they win by 8.
Thought we had a bingo, bango, bongo. I got 24-10. But I think that win in Pittsburgh by double digits, coming back from down 9 at the half, that's a B12 shot.
Yeah, that's
for
right,
a
Mike.
team that
right.
that is, you know, it had felt like they were trying to recapture what we saw the opening Sunday and Thursday of the regular season when they had 2 home games against the Lions and the Commanders. That win over the Lions in hindsight looks better and better. But then, you know, they lost in Cleveland and that weird tie game in Dallas. But I think people are starting to realize, and they're starting to realize what they can be.
Yeah.
And losing at home to the Panthers is not one of the key steps on the path to being what they can be.
I could see the blowout. I could see the blowout. I don't have the 13.5's too much, right? And then there was a part of me that thought maybe it's 31-16. But I think Carolina, like you said, they're in the going in the right direction. They're a little better than people realize, but they're not in Green Bay's class, to your point. Green Bay's a Super Bowl team, and they're getting healthy on both. Lucas Van Ness, you know, Devontae Wyatt back last week. Those are guys that were missing there a little bit to maybe some of those underwhelming performances we saw from Green Bay.
And look, I didn't expect the spread to be 13.5. And I think it's as simple as 17-10, fourth quarter, one more touchdown, 24-10. I don't think it's going to be an easy road for the Green Bay Packers.
Got you.
Denver Broncos at 6-2 on a 5-game winning streak go to Houston, where the Texans have been up and down. When they look bad, they look very bad. When they look good, they look great. They look great against the San Francisco 49ers, even though they played that Monday night game that went until after 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, come home, short week, even shorter, and they looked good. The defense, as you've been saying all year, one of the best in the league. Offense starting to figure things out. They've got the Broncos, and the Texans yet again are 1.5-point favorites against a 2-loss team.
Surprising, man. I didn't see that. I didn't really think that would be the case. I just saw these spreads just, a little before we came in here and did the pod. I was shocked by that.
And it's the lowest over-under the week of 39.5. Who you got?
Yeah. I can't wait for this game. I know we're in the era of offense and we want points and fantasy football. But, man, you know me. I'm a little old school. I like an old school defensive, knock your face off type of football game, and that's what you're going to get in this one. I mean, these are arguably the two most psycho defenses in football right now. So that's where I get pumped. And, yeah, I think the world of that Houston defense. You know that, right? I mean, I think they can almost win games by themselves. I think Houston found something on the offensive side of the ball a little last week. I think I talked about it on my pod. I think I talked about it with you a little bit on Wednesday. They went to the short passing game. I feel like they almost took the Chiefs Mahomes route where they went, wait, we're not totally healthy at receiver. We can't run the ball. C.J. Stroud's our best player. Let's let him get the ball, see the field, and boom, and be surgical, as I always say, right? And that's what they did to the 49ers. And then the 49ers got so sick of it being surgical that, oh, wait, there's a shot down the field, and there's a shot down the field. And I think if they can just do that with this kind of defense that they play there, yeah, I like their chances, right? The other thing is just I'm not sold. I know the Broncos offense has gone off the last 5 quarters, right? But at the same time, it was the Giants, which is one of the poor defenses in football, and it's the Cowboys who suck. So there's no other way to say that, right? So because of that, I thought I was picking an upset.
You chose violence.
I'm choosing violence, yeah. I thought I was picking an upset, but I'm actually picking the favorite here. I'm going Texans 19-16 in this one.
Last week, and this is one of those where, man, if I'd really sat down and thought this through, I might have understood why the Texans were favored, because I was like, why the hell are the Texans favored? But the edge that DeMeco Ryans had in this, former assistant coach of the 49ers taking on his team, the edge he had is he knows how to attack that defense.
That's right.
It's the same defense that he ran. It's the same defense he runs. And it's not a defense that is premised on making a lot of adjustments. It's like, this works.
Yes.
We're going to do this. If we run it the right way, it'll work. But there's going to be openings there that you can take advantage of if you're patient.
Right.
And I think about that defense versus the Broncos defense, and I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the show. I may have, or I may have told you separately, but when Hufanga and Greenlaw showed up in Denver, one of the early returns was, have these guys ever been coached? Because
they don't know a lot of defense.
Is much more complicated.
Right.
In San Francisco, it's much more simple.
Yes.
So Vance Joseph's defense is going to be, I think, a tougher nut for DeMeco Ryans and the offense to crack this week.
Right.
Yeah, and you got me tempted to think about the under here. Nobody ever bets the unders unless they have inside information as to whether or not a player is going to leave a game. But typically nobody wants to bet the unders. Life's too short to not bet the over. 39.5. I got 17-13 Broncos. And I'm nervous about this one, because if the same Texans team shows up as showed up last week, Broncos are in for a long day. But I think the difference is the defense. It's not going to be nearly as easy for the Texans to figure out how to move the ball. That long 10-minute drive to start the game. I don't think they're going to be able to do that against the Denver Broncos. So it was a close one. It was a toss-up. Broncos 17-13.
There's some interesting injuries, though, they got to throw out there, right? Patrick Surtain, we know he's dealing with something. Right.
Peck.
Yep.
And may go on IR.
Dre Greenlaw, as we know, always dealing with something. Got a quadricep issue there. Those are some big injuries on that. Marvin Mims has got a concussion. I would expect the Texans to have Nico Collins back this week from his concussion, right? Because he didn't play last week. Christian Kirk, where's he at with his hamstring? Right? Dalton Schultz is a little bit banged up. So, for all those out there that are listening to this stuff, just pay attention to the injury report a little.
All right, Falcons, Patriots. The Patriots have won 5 in a row. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 51. Atlanta, which has looked not good since beating the Bills on a Monday night. They are 5.5-point underdogs with a 44.5 point over under. 89% of the spread money is on the Patriots, who really are clicking right now under Mike Vrabel. Do they keep it going?
I do think they keep it going. Now, the caveat is, it's a desperation game for Atlanta. It really is. You look at it and you go, they lose this game, I mean, they're going to have to go on some type of run here down the stretch. And we know the NFC is freaking stacked right now. I mean, it's stacked. We're going to have teams that are going to have phenomenal records not getting the playoffs. So that's where you look at it. We might have teams in the NFC where you go, that's a Super Bowl team, and they didn't get in the playoffs. That's what's crazy about the NFC. So that does open things up a little bit. But, man, at home in New England again, it's going to be a little cooler up in the New England area, all that, right? And the Patriots can stop the run. And they got some corners on the outside where we already know Atlanta's not known for their separation anyways with those guys. Now they're going to have stick-em glue on them with, the corners in New England. So that's what I don't like. Plus, right, I think the size of New England and their ability to run the ball will affect a smaller, faster Atlanta defense. So I think that's another thing to figure out as well. And with stopping the run, as far as Patriots defense, right, they can stop the run and I think also stop the pass game because the Falcons' pass game is simple and there's not that much to figure out. And I feel like Drake May and Josh McDaniels, they'll take it slow at first, just like they did last week against Cleveland. They're going to be like, whoa, they're fast. They do a lot of stuff. Let's be conservative. Let's figure out how they play. And then they'll slowly start to pick them apart. I think they run the ball. And can the Falcons play man coverage? That's the big thing with the Falcons, too. We've seen the last few weeks, everybody just 5 yards here, 8 yards here, 5 yards here, 8 yards here. I mean, it's pitiful. You got to be able to play some man. I'm going Patriots 24-17.
Yeah. Drake May has been, and I think has emerged as the best quarterback from the 2024 class. Jaden Daniels, when healthy, may be as good, but when healthy is an important factor in assessing whether or not a guy's a franchise quarterback, because franchise quarterbacks show up every week. They don't get injured. They play within the framework of a 22-man arrangement of players where you know how to not get hit. You know how to not get hurt. Drake May has avoided that. And Drake May, his numbers are incredible, his accuracy, everything. And he's giving this team a lift. And they bottomed out at 2 straight years of 4-13, and they believe again. And the process seems to be accelerated. This year, I thought was about just building hope for next year. They're legitimate this year. They're a contender this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they make some significant move at the trade deadline to try to thrust themselves into the upper echelon of the AFC.
Right.
So I like the Patriots. And you know what? Most of the time, I try to do an O's the mentalist, foresee the future, and pick what I think the score will be. Sometimes I just feel like having a little fun. Patriots win 28-3 over the Atlanta Falcons.
That would be amazing.
I couldn't resist.
That would be me. I do hope they play a Super Bowl memory on the big screen that flusters the Falcons and Arthur Blank. That was always fun.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, none of the players were there.
No, I know. Right.
But still,
it'll bother the owner.
It's something they're never going to get away from.
No,
ever.
Right.
All right. The 49ers go to MetLife Stadium. Robert Sala's first time at MetLife Stadium since he was fired by the Jets last year. The 49ers all the way across the country are 2.5-point underdogs, over under of 48.5. 91% of the spread money is on the 49ers. Look, the Giants, for a 2-win team, they are fun. They are exciting. They have hope in Jackson Dart. The problem is they're just losing too many players.
Yeah, that's right. And the other thing that's scary about this game is the 49ers are missing a bunch of players. I mean, damn, it's a long injury list. Right? So I look at that. You know me. I'm a Giants fan, but not this week. Sorry, G-Men. I'm rooting for the 49ers. Friendship over the Giants there. So, yeah, I think Shanahan, first off, and the 49ers they're going to bounce back from the way they played last week. I think Shanahan's going to find the flaws in this New York Giants offense. This is a defense that's all over the place. It's all over the place. And he usually, in my estimation, when it's a defense that's kind of all over the place, he cracks the code and makes you look silly that way, right? And then, the other thing is the Giants are so predicated. It's not like the offense delivers. It's like the playmakers deliver more times than not. Right? So I don't think Jackson Dart's going to be able to make plays and do that. I think the 49ers will crowd the line of scrimmage on him and do that. I'm going to go 49ers 28-17.
24-20 49ers. They need this one badly after losing last week. They got to keep pace with the Rams and the Seahawks, who are both 5-2, 49ers at 5-3. And this just feels kind of like borderline desperation game for the 49ers. And they are the better team, even with the injuries. They just need to go all the way to New York and get this one done. I think it'll be close, but I think they pull off the victory by
I think it's
4
Phil Simms'
points.
bobblehead day, too, just so you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, all the more reason to hope that the Giants can pull it off. But you even ignored that it's Phil Simms' bobblehead day and pick the. Or you can change your mind if you want. You can go with the Giants if you want.
Nah, no. See, I don't fall into those traps. Phil on this one. Go Niners. Here we go.
All right. The Indianapolis Colts take their 7-1 record to Pittsburgh, where the Steelers lost by 10 last week. They had the very disappointing Thursday night loss to the Bengals. The Steelers defense is currently the third worst statistically in the NFL. We spent a lot of time on Wednesday's PFT Live trying to figure out what's wrong with that team. Our final mutual assessment is that the players on defense just aren't good enough.
Right.
They just aren't good enough. It's not a scheme thing. It's not a do you want it thing. It's a spirit is willing, flesh is weak, collectively thing for the Steelers. So the Colts are favored by 3. The over-under is 40.5. 94% of the spread money is on the Colts. And we had both picked the Steelers to win every week this season. I have a feeling that streak ends for one, if not both of us today.
Yeah, I'm definitely not picking them. But let me give you some things where, first off, 3 points, right? I think people would probably be surprised to see that. Here would be my reasoning, I think. And this is where I could see the matchup and the game maybe being closer than what people think it might be. This is a game where the Colts play zones, right? They blitz zones. They're creative that way. This is where the quick, short passing game for the Pittsburgh Steelers might come into handy as far as the matchup. Almost like a ball control passing offense, right, Mike? I think that's where Pittsburgh could probably even the playing field a little bit, help their defense, keep them off the field, and not have to deal with that Colts offense. I think that's where they can, tip the scales a little bit in their favor in that department. And they've shown the ability to do that. So I expect their offense to have a little success and efficiency, but to score touchdowns and keep pace with the Colts that way, I don't know. Negative Ghost Rider. And yeah, you said it right. I mean, we talked about it. I'm not trusting the Pittsburgh defense. I mean, come on. What's there to trust? It's a slow defense. The secondary slow. They can't be trusted in man-to-man. You can run the ball on Pittsburgh. We never talk about a defensive tackle in the Steelers game anymore, making a play, doing anything like that. It's like if T.J. Watt doesn't make the play, nobody does. Or Alex Highsmith. That's it. So, yeah, it's Colts 31-23 on the road.
Yeah. Look, I assume that the Steelers fans will be more present, more vocal. They understand the urgency of the moment. This is a huge game for the Steelers to avoid losing 3 in a row. I'm just troubled by all of the various warning signs. There isn't any one thing. It's just a bunch of things. One thing we didn't talk about yesterday, Mike Tomlin, after the loss on Sunday and then again at his Tuesday press conference, the first thing he talks about is how the offense is getting field goals instead of touchdowns. Well, we're in an era where you go for it on 4th down. You don't settle for field goals.
This goes right into everything we talk about. You're right. You don't kick field goals all the time, especially maybe if your defense isn't all that good. But this is where I get on Aaron Rodgers. You heard me on Monday. I mean, is there ever an aggressive throw down the field a little bit? This is 2025. The quarterbacks that are winning, what are they doing, Mike? They're making freaking plays all the time. It's not 2009 Drew Brees era anymore where it's like, oh, we 6 yards here, 6 yards here, 6 yards here. We're an awesome offense. Teams have taken that away. You got to make some plays, and that's where they don't make enough of them. They're just a little sprinkle of it here and there every now and then.
Colts 30-17 for me, and it pains me to say that because I thought the Steelers were going to be better. And I do have one fun fact. I need to tell this story. I said on Monday, I really wish I could go to the Colts-Steelers game just to see if it feels any different than last Sunday night did.
Yeah.
And somebody offered me his tickets to the game because he can't go. And it's like, dude, it's not a matter of not being able to get tickets. It's I work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be.
Little problem.
This week, we're not in Pittsburgh. We're in Connecticut.
Right.
I'd love to be able to go to the game. Thank you very much for the offer. But yeah, I'm otherwise occupado on Sunday. Chargers at the Titans. 8.5-point favorites are the Chargers. Mike McCoy, the interim head coach in Tennessee, gets a shot at the team that fired him after 3 seasons as head coach. Over under 43.5. 85% of the spread money is on the LA Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. Do you think the Chargers can beat that number?
Yes, I do think they can, right? My big thing, as you've always heard me say here, is can you run the ball on the Chargers? Because if you can, then that gives you a fighting chance. But I don't think Tennessee will be able to. Tennessee can't run the ball really on anybody. So, therefore, it goes on to Cam Ward in a passing game that's not all that good against one of the better pass defenses in football. So, that's going to be tough sledding for the Titans offense. The other side of the story is, the Chargers, Joe Alt's back. They can't run the ball maybe like they could early in the year with a full, healthy O-line, but they're showing the ability that they can. And is Jeffrey Simmons playing for the Tennessee Titans? I would doubt it, right? So off of that, his hamstring still bothering him. I go, well, they're not going to be able to stop the Chargers' run. And we see the Chargers and Justin Herbert, if their record was better, Justin Herbert's f***ing balling out. I mean, he's carrying the team weekly. He's just laser shows everywhere. I'm going to take the Chargers 28-14 in this one. Old school, old-fashioned number right there, 28-14.
31-10 Chargers. Look, the Titans are just, they've been irrelevant for the most part. They've had a couple of good runs. Mike Vrabel was a coach that never should have been fired. They're in the process of figuring out what they're going to do next. The Chargers, they take that win, that 37-10 win last Thursday night, and they build on it as they try to keep pace with the Broncos and the Chiefs. And it's going to be hard to get a wild card spot in the AFC and the Chargers. You lose to the Titans, you may as well just forget about making the playoffs. This is a game you've got to win if you're the LA Chargers, and I think they will easily. All right, let's take a break. Late afternoon games on Sunday, including the 10th edition of Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. That's next on Chris Sims Unbuttoned and PFTPM Joint Mega Picks podcast. Chris Sims Unbuttoned, PFTPM Joint Mega Picks podcast, week 9. Week 9, halfway through the regular season as of this weekend. And congratulations, Tyler Shuck. You are now the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Good news.
Yeah.
Bad news, you're going to LA to face a Rams team that is very good, that has Jared Verse and other badasses on defense, and they've had 2 weeks to get ready for this one.
Right.
Rams favored by 14. When we did the spread for the Packers game earlier, and it was 13.5. I'm like, how's that not the biggest spread of the week? Well, I hadn't thought of the Rams versus the Saints. It's 14, over under 43.5. 86% of the spread money is on the Rams.
Yeah, of course I like the Rams. The Rams have a really good defense. It's hard to make big plays against them. They make it hard for you to get in the end zone. All of that. And, the Saints, as we know, too, I don't think the defense is that bad. It's just the offense isn't great either. But, yeah, this is the Rams on a bye week, healthy, game planned, all of that. Matthew Stafford going to be hot as hell and ready to go and as healthy as he could be. Puka Nacua sounds like we're back and ready to roll that way. So with all that, yeah, I'm going 35-17 Rams. I might be being a little nice in that score, honestly. This is not where you want to start. This pass rush, they're real, right? They do creative stuff on the back end and coverage there. I think Tyler Shuck, it's like, thanks for letting me start against this team. Thanks a lot.
I am very true to my principles when it comes to the score that I pick.
Yeah.
When I take my hand off the checker, 34-17 is mine. Just 1 point away.
Oh, so close. And I thought about 34-17. I did.
It was the charlatan-induced bingo, bango, bongo, 35-17. Yeah, look, the Rams, again, they're not going to know whether the Seahawks win or lose. They need to win this game. It's almost like Chargers Titans. You can't consider yourself in the Super Bowl window if you can't beat the Saints with Tyler Shuck in his first ever NFL start. And that guy was put on the bench for an extended period of time for a reason.
Right.
The Saints are in full prepare for next year mode. Let's see what Tyler Shuck has. It's that simple. He's supposedly the start of the rest of the year. All right. Jaguars coming off of their bye week. At the Raiders, coming off of their bye week. Jacksonville favored by 2.5. They've lost 2 in a row. The Raiders, the last time we saw them, barely performed at the level of an NFL team. If there was relegation in the NFL, they would be a candidate after that splattering they took in Kansas City. 44.5 over under. Can the Jaguars get back on the right track after losing 35-7 to the Rams in London?
I was going to say the Jaguars barely looked like an NFL team the last time they played too. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Both coming off bye weeks. What are they going to do here? We know the Jags are better. The Jags are more talented for sure. Right, I'm going to pick the Jags to win the game, but let me just give you 2 things I worry about, right, with the game and how the Raiders can pull an upset. First thing is the Raiders' defense is better than people realize. Right, they are. They're well coached. They're pretty creative, and we see Trevor Lawrence do dumb shit every game. So it doesn't take much. Like 1 or 2 bad plays, and all of a sudden it's we're in a dogfight. The other thing that I worry about with Jacksonville is just that they get a little too aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, and it lends itself to big plays. And we know the one thing the Raiders have been able to do when they do have success on offense is big plays. Geno looking to fire down the field. So that aspect just scares me a little bit, but I'm not taking the Raiders. Jaguars 27-20.
Yeah, and the thing that scares me is the possibility of Trevor Lawrence doing something ill-advised.
Right.
That's the kindest way to put it. Because we see it. We see it, whether it's an interception where the ball's not even close to where it needs to go, throwing the ball after he's clearly past the sticks, that 4th down play against the Rams. Remember in the first half, it was 4th and 7 and he ran. It's like, did he really know it was 4th down?
Yeah.
Just the way that he handled the play. It's like, I don't think he realized it was 4th down. So
he doesn't have great feel for the game. Even if he did run there and thought it was 4th down, his thought or feel that he was able to get it was wrong, to your point. And so either way, it's wrong. And that's what I talk about with him a lot, is his feel is just not in the same category as the really great quarterbacks in football right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the plays over and over, the games over and over. The best quarterbacks in that setting don't do what he did.
Exactly.
They try to throw the ball to the end zone.
Right.
They don't try to make a run that no one, even they, should believe is going to happen. So 20-17, Jaguars win. They barely cover, but I don't feel good about that one because I could see the Jaguars pissing down their leg. All right, the big game of the day.
Oh, baby.
Look, most of these games are looking like they're going to potentially be blowouts. And, well, if you suffer through those, you get rewarded by Chiefs at Bills. The 10th time they've gotten together, the Chiefs are favored by 1.5. This is the first time that the Bills have been an underdog since week 1 against the Ravens. Over under a 52.5. The Bills have won, I believe. I need to confirm this, but I believe the Bills have beaten them 4 straight times, 4 straight years in the regular season.
I think so.
Do they make it 5?
Right. I believe Josh Allen's 4-1 against Mahomes in the regular season. Right. So I think you're right there. And the one win being the COVID game, right, on like a Tuesday night when Kansas City beat Buffalo that year, I believe, is the one they won in the regular season. But this is, first off, the Chiefs are fighting for their lives, as we know. I mean, they're still looking at it going, wait, we want to be the number 1 seed. Like, screw the Colts, all that. We're doing that. They're feeling their mojo. Now, the Bills, as you've heard me talk about a lot, the Bills are really kind of built to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what they've built their team around. You always hear me say, if you can run the ball on the Bills, they're in deep crap because now they're not that big up front and they got to worry about that. And then they're not the type of team that can play man-to-man, and McDermott can't be all cool and crazy with his awesome coverages he has. So that's an issue there, right? But with all that, and the Chiefs don't run the ball all that great. So you would think, ooh, that's advantage Bills in that department there a little bit. But I think it's different this year. I think it's different. The Chiefs, first off, they're feeling their mojo. Their offense has got it going. Rashee Rice back in the lineup totally changes their football team. Totally. I mean, it makes Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce look so much better because they have a guy they can focus and make a focal point of their game plan. And, of course, he can go above and beyond the plays that are there to be had. He's special that way. Right? Mahomes is on his game. He's playing at an MVP type of level. And even though the Bills don't have to worry about, the run game a whole lot, I don't think their defense is good enough to even stop Kansas City with their pass game and how they're going right now and what they're doing. And I don't think they're going to be able to pressure Mahomes when they just rush 4. So, therefore, he's going to have all day to throw and make magic happen and do all that. I don't think the Bills will be able to control the game with their offensive run game. I'm going Chiefs 27-24 up in Buffalo.
30-27 Chiefs. As much as I want to try to find a way for the Bills to win this game, the Chiefs are the ones who are trending the right way. They have ground to make up. They're trying to prove things to everyone else and to themselves. For the Chiefs, it kind of feels like a playoff game. And in the playoffs, the Chiefs are 4-0 against the Bills with Mahomes and Allen. They've beaten the Bills 4 of the last 5 years in the playoffs. First time in NFL history that one team has beaten the same team 4 times in 5 years. And it just feels like that's what's going to happen. And I also have another feeling, and this one is far less of a risky feeling. That's a 425 game, and it's probably going to be a close game, and it's probably going to go down to the wire, which means that for the first half hour or so of Football Night in America, we can basically do whatever we want. Like, nobody's going to be paying attention. We can act a fool.
You're right.
Maybe the only hope.
Let's not wear. What do you want to do? Let's wear no shirts
hope,
or something on the show. The first half hour.
The only hope. No, that would not. That would no. The only hope would be if we have Oz the Mentalist on. Maybe we should start a rumor that Oz is going to be on from 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Hey, that would move the needle.
I think Oz is the man, but Oz versus Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, I don't think that's still winning out on
I'm
that
being
one.
Sarcastic.
Yeah, thank you. I know that there, buddy. Thanks a lot.
30-27. Shirtless Oz. That would be. Yeah. Maybe we could do something where Oz can like guess your tattoos. I don't know. Anyway, 30-27 for me, 27-24 for you. Let's break. When we return, prime time for Week 9, including Seahawks Commanders, Washington in a must-win game on Sunday Night Football. That's next, along with the Monday night game on Chris Sims Unbuttoned at PFTPM.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the MFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
And as always, please bet responsibly, only with money that you can afford to lose, especially if you listen to idiots like us, if you might have last week. 2 weeks ago, not bad. Last week, you got a problem. All right, the Commanders have a problem. They're at home on Sunday night against the Seahawks. Seahawks had a bye week. Commanders, short week. Seahawks favored by 3, 47.5 over under, 87% of the spread money's on Seattle. It looks like Jaden Daniels will be back from a hamstring injury that he suffered against the Cowboys. That's good news for the Commanders. That's been one of the biggest problems this year. You need to have your starting quarterback on the field if you want to fulfill your potential. But they've got other issues. They've got other flaws. They're 3-5, and they're staring at 3-6, which would put them in a bad spot. They're currently 13 out of 16 in the NFC playoff tree, which leaves them well out of playoff position.
Right. Yeah. No, they're in trouble. They're in trouble, right? You know, that first-year energy bump from Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn, that's gone, right? You know, Dan Quinn and his ability to evolve and continue to go different places on the defensive side of the ball, I question that. You know, you'll hear me say that. I mean, it fell apart in Atlanta as soon as Kyle Shanahan left. It went downhill. So that's where I question things about Washington. Their defense is not good, and that's not good against Seattle. Seattle will stay patient with the run, and they're not a great running team, but I think they'll be able to run the ball on Washington. And then Seattle's what? The biggest pass play team in football right now? Nobody attacks down the field more than Seattle. So, and then we know Washington, I mean, there's plays to be had there everywhere. And, yeah, I think that could be scary for Washington's defense. So I expect Seattle's offense to move the ball. Now, it's a desperation game for Washington to a degree. And, hey, their offense poses problems, as we know. They can run the ball. They're really good at running the ball. But I think the Seattle D is pretty damn real. And I do think they'll be able to stop the run. And I think they got the speed on the edge to contain Jaden Daniels to a degree when he does scramble and run and do all of that. Now, I don't know where this Seattle defense is health-wise in the secondary. Witherspoon Steele's dealing with something, right? I know Julian Love is as well. So see where this goes.
He had a setback this week on his hamstring.
Yeah, so there we go. So I had it 23-20 Seahawks. I'm going to go 24-20 Seahawks.
We have
Bingo.
For the first time in weeks. And I did 24-21. I saw the spread was 3. And in my mind, before you said it, I said I'm going to go 24-20. Bingo, bango, bongo. And it becomes a bingo, bango, bongo, bunghole, of course, if the final score is 24-20, Seattle over Washington. The Seahawks are unbeatable on the road, and they have extra time to get ready, and they're just the better team right now. And, you know, for the Commanders, it's a shame because there was so much hope coming into the season. The way things ended last year, let's build on it. You know, we've seen teams that make it to the NFC Championship or the AFC Championship as the stepping stone to having a Super Bowl run. It's just got to be a gutting feeling to have had such a special season last year and have it fall apart this year. But 3-6 seems to be coming, and the Commanders will be, as a practical matter, out of the playoff chase by the time we get to week 10. As a practical matter, they could still turn it around. There was a time, remember 2012? I believe they were, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they were like 3-6 and won 7 in a row. The year that RG3 was a rookie and your guy Kyle was there. I think they may have been 3-6 and won 7 in a row.
Something like that.
It's not completely done yet.
Right.
If they lose, but we both think they will. Monday Night Football, Cowboys hosting the Cardinals. Cowboys are favored by 2.5. Over under a 54.5. What a shock. Yet again, the Cowboys game is the highest over under of the week. 89% of the spread money's on Dallas. There's still a question about Kyler Murray, who's missed 2 games with a foot sprain. They have not called it a Liz Frank injury, but we haven't seen injury reports yet because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the Monday night game. They worked out 3 quarterbacks yesterday. And what does that mean? Are they thinking about getting rid of their third stringer and bringing in another guy behind Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett? Or are they thinking maybe they need another guy because of Murray's foot? We'll find out more today, but we got to make this pick based on an assumption that Murray is or isn't going to go. So with that said, what's your pick?
Yeah, I'm picking it as if he's not there. And I don't really care if Kyler Murray's there or not. It means nothing. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, the offense actually functions better in the passing game. You know, because of that, I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one, right? I think it's an even football game. I'm going to go with the upset here. Them getting off the bye week, it's a desperation football game. Jonathan Gannon and that Cardinals defense is a little bit better than the stats will show and how they play there. I think they get a few stops on Dallas's offense, and I think Arizona, as everybody, will move the ball either way it wants on the Dallas Cowboys defense. So I'm going Cardinals 30-27.
The Cardinals have 5 straight losses. That's the longest current streak in the NFL. All 5 have come by a combined 13 points, and all 7 games this season for the Cardinals have been decided by 1 score. I'm going Cowboys, though. Cowboys are a better team at home. And if Kyler Murray were playing, I'm like, we've seen Kyler Murray go to Dallas and have a big game. He grew up near the stadium. Yeah. It all lines up. But it's just Kyler Murray of 2025 isn't the Kyler Murray of 2019, 2020, 2021, especially if he's got the foot issue if he does play. Cowboys 31-28. All right, let's take a break. When we return, best bets and Folsom Prison/County Blues pick on PFT Live. Not PFT Live. You know who. They know who we mean. PFT PM, Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Yeah. Chris Sims Unbuttoned, PFTPM, Joint Mega Picks podcast for Week 9. Best bets time, we each pick 3 against the spread or the over-under, if so inclined. What do you got? Yeah,
it's a rare week where I feel like I have more than 3 that I like, right? This is one where I just hope I pick right here. I like the Lions. I like the Texans under. I like the Pats. I like the Colts. I like the Chargers. I like the Rams. The first one I'm going to go with is the Lions. That'll be the first one there. Lions favored by 8.5. I got them winning 35-17, so I'm going to go with that one.
I was trying to put the Malocchio not on you, but on your picks.
Right, I saw
But as we have learned, the Malocchio cannot really be controlled. Sometimes it ends up being much stronger than expected. That's a story for another day. I got the Lions as well.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Colts. I think they're going to win by more than 3 points. Yeah, I do. I just don't trust Pittsburgh's defense. 3 points is not enough for me, right? And I don't really think Pittsburgh's offense is all that. The spread's 3. I got the Colts winning 31-23.
Patriots giving 5.5 to the Falcons. Falcons going in the wrong direction. Patriots going in the right direction. Yes, we're ripe for a correction. I don't think it's going to happen this week. Give me the Patriots.
Yep. And then my last one, I'm stuck between the LA teams, and I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers on the road. I know it's an 8.5-point spread. I got them winning 28-14. I'm going to trust that more than I trust the Rams.
I'm only going to have really an opportunity to pick up one game on you if I'm right about the Patriots and you're wrong about the Colts, because I got the Chargers too. And I'm not going to back off of it. Chargers given 8.5. That's not nearly enough when they're for real and the Titans aren't. All right, give me your Folsom Prison Blues. The one game you would pick straight up if you were dying in a gutter and had one game.
Well,
one game.
The Folsom County Prison Blues would bring me to L.A. over the New Orleans Saints. That's where I would go.
I thought about that one, but you know what? I'm going to stay true to my thoughts and go across the board here. The Lions are not losing to the Vikings, and if it's an emotional hedge, I'm putting a lot on the line for it.
Yes, you
Enjoy
are.
the games.
See you guys.
Bet responsibly.
Have a
Happy
good
Halloween.
one. Yo, thanks for watching, homies. We are now in the NFL season here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, game recaps, film deep dives, and much, much more.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe, rate, review. Peace out. You know where to find us.